Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey Conrail and ISCO. Welcome back to our training series. So this series, if you've been checking out the playlist, this is for my operators for the Say/Her secondary, and just gives them a rundown of what to expect during an operating session. So this training series, we're going to be going over some of the paperwork. There's two vital pieces of paperwork that you need to know about when you get your equipment from dispatch before you start running a train. The first piece of paperwork that we're going to go over is our switch list. So in addition to your car cards and waybills, you're going to be getting a switch list. Now, the switch list that I give you, I have used the car cards to make that up so you know what cars are going to be in your train. And this is more like a work order. This kind of tells you what work needs to be done at what spots. So when you look at your switch list, the first thing you need to know is the first column is just numbers. Okay, that's just the number to keep it in sequence. The next one is the car initials. That tells you what the railroad that owns the car, so it's easy for spotting. And then is the car number itself. And if you can reference that car number to your car cards, you can get that little picture to kind of eyeball it as you're doing the work. Then it's a car type that helps you further classify it. It uses the FRA classification of cars, T for tank, LO for covered hopper, XM for box car, and there's various others that you'll come across. And at any point you're confused, just ask myself or one of the more experienced operators, and they can help you out with that. The next block is going to be your destination block, and that tells you specific locations. So the way the layout is done is that each panel corresponds to the bill boxes at that location. So when you look at the Englishtown panel, it'll have the specific spots labeled like freehold lumber, track 1 or track 2. And then that will correspond with your switch list, so you know how to pinpoint where that car needs to go. So, and then in the remarks section, I usually put SO for set out or PU for pick up. So that'll just tell you what you need to do with that car, and that's how the switch list will be laid out. So, again, it's just going to be a work order. I'll have them all pre-filled out for you, so you won't have to worry about it. So it's just less work you have to do because you're here to run trains. And this will just tell you what you need to do at what location. So this is the panel at Lakewood. It is a very simplified panel, so it's easy to teach you on. You can see the N with the arrow that points in the direction which way north is, so that helps you understand where you are on the layout. If you look right there on that siding, it's got a label that says Danassos. So, and that'll correspond with the bill box there. And that tells you where Danassos is. So it's a graphic representation. The bill box tells you that Danassos is here, and then you look on the map to see where exactly the industry is. And that'll come into play when you get to a location where there's more than one industry. So that'll just help you with your switch list. The second piece of paperwork that you'll be getting with all your equipment is going to be a Form D. I'm going to be giving you blanks because you're going to be copying the Form Ds via radio. So radio will also be a part of the equipment that you get. Now, what is a Form D? A Form D essentially is a track warrant. And what that does is that gives you authority to operate a specific area of the layout. So a Form D is specific to Conrail and the NORAC handbook. So that's what we're going to be using here. So when you look at the Form D for the first time, it's a little intimidating at first because a lot of information can be put on there, but generally speaking, you're only going to be using about 2 lines of it. So if you look up at the upper right-hand corner on this example I'm giving you, it's a blank one, it has the date. Then when you look over on the left, it says the Form D number. That'll be given to you by dispatch, so don't stress about that. So then when you come down to the 2 line, that's where you fill out C&E, which stands for conductor and engineer, and your unit number, and then also the train number in parentheses after. And that just tells who it's to. And then generally speaking, most times you're going to be using line 2. You'll circle line 2, and then you'll fill it in as per the dispatcher gives you. The next vital piece of information on the Form D is going to be the dispatcher's initials and then the time effective. You need that time, that validates the order. Then when you're canceling it, on the bottom there, Form D cancel time, that's where you put the time that the dispatcher gives you for the cancellation, and then the dispatcher's name and date. And that will essentially cancel that order, saying that it's no longer a valid order. The other blocks that may come into play during an operating session would be line 1, and that would be temporary speed restrictions. So if there's any kind of problems, track work going on or something like that, we wanted to slow you down, that's where those would go. Now, when you're out on the layout and you need to ask for additional track space, maybe you're working in Freehold and you need track down in Lakewood to make your switching maneuvers, the dispatcher may use those blank lines under line 2 to add additional track space to your Form D. Now, you need to realize that when the Form D is canceled, all of the track spaces that are listed on there, including those additional lines, also are no longer valid. So keep that in mind. So, it's like I said, it seems a little intimidating at first, but don't worry about it. Just go with the flow. Ask myself or any other operators in the room how this works, and they'll be more than glad to walk you through it. So there you go. That's our paperwork. I just wanted to do a brief summary and just get you kind of cut your teeth on this idea of this extra paperwork. It's just to make our operations more prototypical, and just so you can know what you expect. But we're not all about getting the job done here. So if you don't understand something, just stop and say I need help, and we'd be more than glad. Nobody's going to yell because we're wasting time or anything like that. But just want you to understand what to expect when you start an operating session. So that's the quick and skinny. So I just wanted to put this out there so you know about it. Like I said in previous training videos, this is really meant for my operators and future operators of the layout. But if you're just catching this on your feed because it popped up, please come over and check out our channel. We're doing a lot of stuff here with my layout on operations, and if this stuff interests you, please subscribe to the channel so you can follow along. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today on the training series. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me your comments, and otherwise, we'll see you next time on Central Jersey, Conrail, and Insko. Thanks.